Now, one of the things that Premier League managers hate most is an international break. They'll always tell you about how it takes their players away from them, upsets their training regime and interrupts the flow of the season. So how will they feel about a 6-week break? Well, perversely, some might actually like it, partly because there are a lot of players who won't be going to the World Cup, who will instead restart the Premier League campaign just after Christmas, a little more refreshed than they'd normally be. Football reporter John Bennett is with me. So which clubs, John, do we think won't actually mind this huge galumphing break in the middle of a Premier League season?
Yeah, I don't think there's an overall winner in who will benefit the most, but I think Liverpool and Arsenal, in terms of the players not going, I think that could work out really well for them. For Liverpool, there are several players who play for nations who didn't qualify. Mohamed Salah's the big one who stands out. Egypt lost a playoff against Senegal. Then you've got players who, surprisingly, haven't been picked, like Roberto Firmino. There's another category as well, a player who didn't want to go, Joel Matip. I think if he'd wanted to, he could have played for Cameroon, but he hasn't played for them for a few years. He's almost retired from international football. 11
players Liverpool have not going for those reasons. We should say that you won't see any injured players on this list unless they wouldn't have been going anyway. So it's important to differentiate between the two. But it is Liverpool have the most players at the very least.
And you look at Arsenal, the list is shorter than Liverpool's list, but I think it's really key players. You look at Martin Odegaard, Alexander Zinchenko has made a big difference since arriving despite his injury problems. Kieran Tierney, Gabriel as well, he hasn't been picked by Brazil. There was a chance that Gabriel Jesus wouldn't go to the World Cup. He was left out of Brazil's squad in the international break before the World Cup, but he has been called up, so brilliant for him. But some Arsenal fans may be worried that he won't be fully rested after the World Cup.
Yeah, these are teams that we've selected that we are, and with all apologies to Brighton in particular, they're the only team in the top 8 that we haven't included here. But these are the teams with the kind of the high-profile players. And it's very interesting to see Manchester City. They have 2 very, very big players who aren't there, and only 2, which means a lot are, which might then not help them when they come back after Christmas.
Exactly, but it's the key player, isn't it? Erling Haaland is staying behind. He'll be well rested. We know he'll work hard. He is so dedicated. Everyone says how professional he is. We know he'll work hard. It won't be a break for him, but it's almost a chance for him to refresh after a brilliant season so far. Riyad Mahrez as well. Hasn't been a great season for him, but he's got a chance to kickstart his second half of the season. And Newcastle as well. I think if you look at their list, it's, again, like Arsenal, it's several key players. Almiron, who's had a brilliant season, Botman as well, Joe Linton, Alan St Maximin. So, yeah, a few clubs on that list. Listen, they're never happy that their players aren't going to the World Cup. But there will be a few of the managers will be a bit relieved. Listen, they're going to have a holiday.